Morning, everyone. Our City of New Orleans Emergency Operations Center remains activated 24/7 upstairs, addressing public safety infrastructure and human service issues. All of our agencies are represented and continue to respond to the impacts of Hurricane Ida. Public safety agencies are continuing to coordinate shelter transportation and resources for our residents. Due to the limited demand for the shelter transportation service, we've reduced the number of pickup sites from 12 to just those 8 cooling centers that are at NORD rec sites, which I'll go over in a second just to talk about cooling centers. We're doing more of an on-demand service for that. We've seen a dramatic reduction in the amount of those. Our target audience, our seniors and those vulnerable that we've been reaching out to directly have been the majority. I'd say 75, 80% of who we've moved out of that 724. We have 1,000 Orleans residents in sheltering statewide right now. That does not include the Red Cross shelters that people may have evacuated to prior to the storm. So we will continue to track those with our partners at the Department of Children and Family Services. From 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., anyone wanting transportation to a shelter in North Louisiana can go to one of the following recreation centers, where they will board an RTA bus to the convention center and go through a simple ticketing process to take a motor coach bus provided by the state of Louisiana DOTD out of the area. That is Tremay Recreation Center, Cutoff Recreation Center, Gurn & Brown Recreation Center, the Milne Recreation Center, Stallings St. Claude Recreation Center, the Lions Recreation Center, Joe Brown Recreation Center, and Rosenwald Recreation Center. And again, those are our cooling shelters, our cooling centers that have been up and operational for about a week, providing services to our public. As I said, we've transported 724 of Orleans residents through the City-Assisted Transportation to State Shelters program that's been running at the Convention Center. We did scale down the amount of personnel needed today. As I walked out here, we've only moved 4 today. It has reduced dramatically, and that would be expected as the power continues to come back on. I'd like to point out that we've had 22 pets move through the process, including 3 large animals, and I will tell you that from working in these types of plans over the years, the pet piece is always something that we're a little concerned about. We are having some fire alarm issues in the building, but please, if we have to leave, we'll indicate that. Always concerned about the pet piece of this because it's very complicated, but it's important. And I would add that I spoke to a gentleman who is evacuating or being transported to a shelter with his dog, didn't bring a bag for himself, brought a bag for the dog, and said the only reason why he was leaving was because of his pet. And so I think it's important to note that a pet saved is a life saved. And we've said that before, and we'll say it again, and we've seen it here in action. And I really have to thank the LASPCA, Anna Zarilla, a great partner in this, who's just been on the ground both at the CATS operation at the Convention Center and at the cooling centers, providing pet support all week. And the Department of Agriculture and Forestry, who is a state lead for pet evacuation and pet rescue. Incredible people. I can't say enough about who they brought in. And also the Louisiana State Animal Rescue Team, LSART, volunteers, veterinarians, and vet techs that come in and assist in that operation. They're down there today, even though we're only moving 4 because they realize the importance of their mission. Not saying 4 for the whole day. We'll continue to do that outreach to seniors and vulnerables, but definitely amazing work. We're going to continue, but we'll make a determination, as the mayor mentioned at the end of the day, about the continuation of that process. And we'll continue to track where our people are because we want to get them back when it's safe to do so. The Department of Children and Family Services has set up a Family Connect hotline to locate loved ones in state shelters for families to have a reunification process. You can call 225-342-2727 between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. There's also a form online at dcfs.louisiana.gov dcfs.gov/connect. That's dcfs.louisiana.gov/connect. As I said, from the time you walked into the convention center, you got a wristband, you filled out a manifest form, you were put on the bus, and by the time you got to that shelter when they would scan that band, the information from that form was already populated into an electronic database. So we want to have complete accountability for everyone that's in this process, because it also helps us get everyone back as well. Through the resources provided by our great partners with Louisiana National Guard and community organizations, we'll continue to provide these commodities to the public as long as these power outages continue. The cooling sites, from what we understand, have seen about 14,000 residents total. That's 2,530 yesterday that were serviced by these, and what we're getting from the ground there is that these were vital towards what we've been dealing with for the last week. They really were. Again, those cooling stations have AC, air conditioning, meals, water, device charging, hygiene kits, diapers and baby supplies, and other resources, and they'll continue to operate at those sites that I mentioned before. We also have the points of distribution with the National Guard, where you can access ice, water, and MREs from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and those are at Joe Brown Park, separate to the cooling sites. Joe Brown Park, Wesley Barrow Stadium out by the lake, Mahalia Jackson Theater, Skelly Park on the West Bank, and Lions Center uptown. There's also one at the Dryads YMCA, a smaller pod operation going there. We're we'll be pushing out tarps to those as well. We see some rain in the forecast, and just, you know, these afternoon thunderstorms, we want to make sure we're pushing out as many tarps as we can to those. And thanks to the City Council, they continue to do the work that they've done from the beginning with getting tarps out to residents that need them for their roofs. Meals are available at dozens of sites around town, supported by World Central Kitchen, Salvation Army, Second Harvest, who's done a great job down at the convention center as well, and Operation Barbecue and Mercy Chefs. And there's a whole list of those every day at ready.nola.gov, as well as everything I'm talking about right now. Again, tarps on that subject, I'd encourage residents to take advantage of this. Today, they will have from 12 to 2 at the Community Commitment Center at 8540 Spruce, 2 to 4 p.m. at the Gust Homes at 1301 Simon Bolivar, 2 to 4 p.m. at Light City Church at 6117 St. Claude Avenue, 3 to 5 p.m. at the Life of Faith Ministry at 10709 Chef Mentor Highway. Our city's IT department, ITI, has launched a gas map with self-reported information from New Orleans gas stations. You can find that at ready.nola.gov/gas map if you're looking for gas stations that are open. I've been looking and tracking these every morning, every afternoon, every evening. Still seeing some gaps in New Orleans East and Gentilly, a little bit on the West Bank as well, but we are starting to see a lot more gas stations and grocery stores come open. We're tracking all of that. That will determine the future demand for the point of distribution that the National Guard's doing. A few reminders about those residents and our neighbors impacted by Hurricane Ida. You can apply for FEMA disaster assistance by going to disasterassistance.gov or calling 800-621-3362. You may be eligible for temporary shelter assistance program, which would cover your hotel costs. FEMA can also cover impacts to renters who had damage. There's programs for that. We activated or requested activation of the Louisiana Federal DSNAP request program. Everyone in Orleans Parish should pre-register for DSNAP by texting LADSNAP to 898-211. LADSNAP to 898-211. And if you're an existing SNAP recipient, you will have replacement benefits automatically loaded onto your card. Again, the Army Corps of Engineers has a free blue roof program. They come into your property and put the blue roof on your home. You can find out more about that at blueroof.us. There's an application process, blueroof.us. And again, as the mayor mentioned, we have a great volunteer network that is willing to assist with cleaning up your yard. Our crisis cleanup hotline, 844-965-1386 to request assistance. Again, I would point out these are volunteers, so get there, call, and as soon as those volunteers can assist you, they will. With that, I appreciate your attention. Thank you.